Slow helps the vigilant. If you are not vigilant, your ideas will be stolen.
Yeah.
So please shut up with your new idea. Shut up, register it, and then now talk about it.
Hi, you're listening to the Creativebulb podcast, and this is the podcast that helps you get to your full creative potential. Now, one of the many things that creatives are not, we are good at creating, but now when it comes to legal matters, we honestly have no idea what legal matters we should take. And so today we have a special episode where we get to have an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. And our theme today is we are going to be talking about understanding our creative rights. Our guest today is called Christine Wothaya. She's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, just as I mentioned, and we'll be talking about a lot of things like intellectual property. And I'll be asking her questions of things we never really take into question as creative people. So I'd like to do a special mention to Midundo Online. If you're looking for an online radio just to get East African conscious music and amazing shows and just to know what people in the East African region are doing, this is the online radio for you. So ladies and gentlemen, without wasting much time, for the very first time an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, welcome Christine to the Creativebulb podcast.
So, karibu sana. You're so welcome, Christine, to the podcast. Claps.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I am so honored. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm so happy that you're able to accept this invite because lately, I just realized a lot of things I don't know, and it's always good to have someone with to give us a legal aspect. The thing about creatives, they're not so good in terms of navigating the big business and technical sides of one art. So we're very good at creating, but we don't know how to earn a living from it. We don't know how to establish ourselves sometimes as a brand and how we can protect our work from being exploited. And I feel like I'm so excited about these conversations. I have so many questions. I hope you're ready.
I am so ready, Marcia, and I agree. I might not be, maybe in the creative industry, but I completely understand when your passion is the one that is leading your life, especially in terms of the work that you do, it kind of becomes tricky to manage the business aspect of it. So yeah. I'm super excited for this conversation. Yeah, people will learn so much.
Yeah. So just to start off on an easier tone, I wanted to be a lawyer when I grew up, but right now I'm currently not a lawyer. So about law, is this something you've always wanted to do?
I remember in high school, hey, my friend, I remember in high school, I started out in the law club. We had a law club in school. Mm-hmm. So we had debate and law. These two different things, kidogo. But I don't know, nilingia, and then I really enjoyed it. And then I enjoyed it mpaka I found myself being the chair lady.
Okay.
And then that's how I found myself doing law in university. Oh. So me nashukuru Mungu niko hapa. Ni Mungu tu haki. But I like what it entails.
Yeah. So I'm aware that there are different specializations in law. We're going to talk a lot about that. But now when it comes to the practice, what do you do? Yeah. Where are you at right now? What do you specialize in? I don't know.
So, of course, as you said earlier, I am a lawyer and I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Mm-hmm. That's just the general spectrum. And deeply into that, what I do right now is more of legal management, right?
Yeah.
So my work revolves around ensuring the growth and sustenance of businesses. Mm-hmm. So giving them whatever advice that they need to stay up and to continue growing as a business or an organization. I connect or I link my law degree and the diploma I have from studying law. And I also studied project management. Mm-hmm. So I just link those two together to what I currently do now.
Nice. I feel like it's that thing that every business person would really want. And that's really nice. We're going to talk a lot about that and how exactly we can get in touch and what kind of help we can do. So today's discussion on a focus on creatives, because even as you're passionate about businesses, even creatives, the creative economy is actually growing. Yeah. So it's entirely a business. So we are all a business in a way. When I was trying to do research for this podcast, there are two terms I got. like those IP law, intellectual property law, and those art law. Is there a difference? Because I know they're different. I don't know. Would you just, is there a difference between the two?
In my thinking, because in school we never saw anything like art law, right?
Yeah.
The more definitive term is intellectual property law. So intellectual property law is its own thing, and we'll be delving deeper into that as we go on with the episode.
Yeah.
But when it comes to art law, you would think that art law would basically be the law that governs and protects artistry, and I think that is what intellectual property law does. So I would feel like they are the same thing. Yeah, but I am open to correction because that is a term that I have had before.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, because even when you listen to people talking about art law, it's more or less the same thing in protecting your intellectual property, and I feel like we are all on the same line there. So now we want to talk about intellectual property. What is intellectual property?
Intellectual property, we can call it whatever it is that is a creation of your mind. Whatever it is that your mind creates, that in itself is intellectual property. So things like, if you're really good at drawing, whatever it is you draw. If you're really good at singing, whatever it is you sing, the rhythm, the tunes, the tone. If you're an illustrator, if you're an architect, creations of the mind in general, that is what intellectual property is.
No, when you're talking about intellectual properties, divided into a couple of intellectual properties, like the different categories of intellectual properties. So that's what I think we can now discuss. What are these categories that fall under intellectual property, and what does each mean? Maybe we can start with the categories, and then we'll just go into discussing into brief what each of them means.
I agree. So when it comes to intellectual property, it entails 5 bits, 5 categories. The first category is called copyright, right? And I'm sure that many of the listeners have heard the name, like have heard these names before, simply because you're in the creative industry. So we're going to delve deeper into all things. So the first category is copyright, as I said. The second category is called trademarks, right? Third category is known as patents.
Okay.
The fourth category is known as an industrial design. The fifth category is known as the geographical indication. The sixth category is known as a trade secret.
Oh, trade secret. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we are discussing, you will realize that there are most of these categories can be linked, can be used together. And that's why it's important to know the entire spectrum of what IP law entails, so that you can understand maybe what is best suited to protect your mind babies, your, like your creativity the best way. Because most of the time, not only one is used. Many people like using all areas. So we'll see that tukiendelea.
So because I know we're going to talk in details about, because the one that I'm more familiar with, I'm familiar with copyright, with patents, with trademarks. Trade secrets, I'm not so sure about that. I didn't know that can actually be. So we can even start with those, like the last 3. We'll start with trade secrets. What exactly are this?
Okay, so trade secrets are basically any confidential business information that usually provides a certain organization or company a competitive edge.
Okay.
Right? And the characteristic of a trade secret, it has to be commercially valuable. It has to be known to a limited group of people, and reasonable steps have been taken to protect that information. Let me give you an example, right? And you will resonate with it when you hear it. Have you ever wondered why there is no soda in the world that ever tastes like a Coke? No one can ever recreate how a Coke tastes. Yes, it is a secret. It is a secret. And if you work in that company, and then you tore that secret, the way you are fined down to your hair roots. You can't come up from that. So that is an example of a trade secret. Another example of a trade secret would be the algorithm for Google. Right? Because it is the most popular search engine in the world currently. So there's certain algorithm they have, so they can so that the results and how they pick up information comes in a particular way. So that what we call it, like formula, maybe that is a trade secret.
Okay. So like
You
in terms
understand?
of, so for the secrets now, for you to like obtain that intellectual property, you're saying that it's known to just a few people. What happens if those people die? I don't know. What happens if those people die? If it's a secret, that means no one knows what exactly are you presenting to the bodies.
What you're presenting is not even trade secrets are registered, right? We'll see that every form of intellectual property requires to be registered. I think it's that thing that tumetoka from a very dark place in the creative industry, where sometimes things of the mind are not taken too seriously. So you think you don't have anything to present. But in actual sense, so long as your thing is commercially valuable, so long as it is known to a limited group of people, and there are steps that have been taken to make it a secret, that in itself makes it registerable.
Okay.
And of course, the ways of protection are different, but when it comes to trade secrets, you can, most companies protect their trade secrets by NDAs, non-disclosure agreements to the employees.
Okay.
Right? You see? Or maybe non-compete agreement with their employees. And a non-disclosure agreement is the one that says, about our business, you cannot talk about it unless you're authorized to do so. A non-compete agreement is an agreement that states that when you leave this company, you cannot go and work with our competitor. Or you cannot start making products that are in competition with our products or services. So basically, just being secretive and just restrictive about the whole thing, that is how trade secrets are maintained.
Oh, I hear you. Then you also mentioned geographical, did you say geographical sites?
Geographical indications.
Geographical indications, how would you explain that?
A geographical indication is particular things that are known to come from a particular place. So for example, mtu akiongelelea chai, ketepa. You see, when someone talks about tea, they automatically think about Kenya. Because there is a certain way of tea tastes that they cannot reproduce it anywhere in the world, even if they carried their soil to their place, to their area of the world. You see, the way there is something like basmati rice. Whatever it is that you can attribute, or the coffee that comes from Ethiopia. Something that cannot be reproduced. So when someone talks about maybe that kind of coffee, that kind of tea, that kind of rice, they immediately attribute it to a certain geographical area. That's why it's called a geographical area. Exactly. So geographical indications can entail things like agricultural products, as you've said, things like tea, coffee, rice. It can also include things like food, actual food, or wine, spirits, alcoholic beverages, handicrafts, and industrial products, right? Kama, for example, you see our Masai shuka. No one in the world can use it without them trying to say it. Imetoka majuzi. It's a Kenyan thing. It is known to be Kenyan. You can kill it even if you want it like that. That is what a geographical indication is.
Okay, I hear you. And then we had another one. What was the third one? The last three, the trade secret, you talked about geographical indications. And then we talked about
industrial design.
Or industrial design. So when you talk about industrial designs, what are these?
An industrial design is like it is the protection of the way something looks. So you're protecting the ornamental aspect of an article. So you're protecting maybe there's a certain there's a way nguo yako imeshonwa huko ndani, the stitching, the hemming. Fashion designers can really take a thick bit from here because it is given protection. Even if it's not that much, just the way something looks can make it yours simply because it is known to be yours. You get it? Like the way we correlate Louboutin heels, they have a red sole. They're not used for anything. Right? But everyone knows, ukiona mtu amevaa kiatu iko na sole ya red, they are rich.
Yeah.
And you instantly just assume the brand that is from, right?
Yeah.
So that is one of them. Fashion designers can really take a bit from this one.
Okay. So even does it also apply
Yeah.
to like the furniture designs and everything else as well? So when you come up with a unique design, you can also just protect it as well.
Yes, but then it's not everything, because there's a bit of a blurred line between industrial designs and copyright. You see,
Okay.
copyright, most of the thing, it can protect art. Copyright can protect art. But similarly, industrial designs can also protect art. The difference is that the industrial designs protect things like particular patterns, particular colors, particular lines.
Okay.
See, so it doesn't really protect the artistry itself. So let's say it's a beautiful sofa or a beautiful piece of furniture. It protects a certain pattern. It protects a certain line.
Yeah.
Or it protects a certain color. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like what is this brand called? You see, Tiffany's.
Yeah.
Tiffany is known to be known by color blue. Right?
Yeah.
Just like Louboutin shoes are known to be color red. So you get it. You get that kind of. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you. And then now we want to go now to the top 3 that are like the most common ones. And I think we can start off with copyrights, which is very common.
Yes.
And just try to understand the lines. What is what? What is copyright and what qualifies as copyright?
Okay. A copyright is right. A copyright is a sort of ownership that a creator can have over their literary and artistic works.
Okay.
So if you write a book, if you write music, if you sing a song, if you draw paintings, if you're an illustrator, if you're a sculptor, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a software guru, you see, anything that is classified as art is protected by copyright. Right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, I think the only thing that can't be protected here are things like fashion. Fashion designs are more on the industrial designs area because ni vitu tu za kuonekana. They just have an aesthetic pleasure to them. Just remove the fashion aspect out of it. But copyright protects literary and artistic works.
Okay.
That falls in every category. Yes.
Okay. So now when it comes to copyright, maybe, so maybe we can just go to define, maybe we can just finish the copyright bit. So when I copyright my illustrations rather than the book I've done, what rights does that copyright give me?
Okay. So you've mentioned that book that you've done, for example. Copyright gives you the right to reproduction. Okay. Meaning anyone that wants to perform, none of the way Harry Potter books were made into films. Ama Game of Thrones books were made into film. Exactly. Anyone who wants to do that with your book will require your authorization. That's one of them. The other right that copyright gives is the right of adaptation. Right? So adaptation and reproduction can go hand in hand. So where you can decide to change it from maybe a novel to a film, or in terms of maybe reproduction where I take your book and then I decide to maybe write a thesis on it. So I'm writing a book on your book. You get it? No. So anything that will require me to get information from your book and put it into my book, I will require your authorization. Right?
Okay.
The third right that copyright gives you is called the right of distribution. The right of distribution is one which controls the platforms where your book can be sold, for example. So do you want it to go on Kindle? Do you want it to go on various Kama Textbook Center? Do you want it to be an Audible? You see, your distribution, you control where you want it to go. Kama kuna mtu, you see, unaenda venye tukiwa campus, when you're reading whatever books you want to read, those books you can't afford from the library. You take it, you borrow it, and then you go and photocopy like half the freaking book. That is also wrong. Please.
Infringement.
That is very wrong. Exactly. So
Yeah.
that person who was the author of that book can tell you that you have infringed their right to distribution because you've
Oh,
taken
okay.
their book and decided to put it into paper form,
Yeah.
right? Which is
Mm.
basically a form of distribution because
Yeah.
now everyone just needs to just take your new photocopied handbook
Yeah.
and then now they'll have this information sambazaing everywhere.
Yeah. I hear you.
Exactly. So those are the three rates. Yeah, those are the three rates that copyright gives you: reproduction rights, adaptation rights, distribution rights.
And so if anybody infringes on my copyright, I'm actually free to just sue you. So just a quick question. How long, if I apply for copyright, how long does it protect me, or is it a lifetime?
Yes, you're actually quite correct on that. If it is your book, your copyright lasts for your lifetime as the
Uh-huh.
author.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you pass away,
Mm-hmm.
50 up to 50 to 70 years after you pass away.
Oh, okay.
And it depends on the jurisdiction. Kenya is 50. For Kenya, let's just put it at 50. So
Yeah.
it's your lifetime plus 50 years. 50 years. Yeah.
Okay.
After
I hear
that,
you.
inaenda kwa public domain. You can't do anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I hear you. So still on the copyright beat, I love what you
Yes.
say that it gives us the right to distribute and to do all that, and that we have it's a lifetime, and then you have 50 years after, which is still good enough. If it comes to registering copyright, I know you register copyright
Yes.
to the Kenya Copyright Board, right?
Yes.
Yes. And it's something that you can do it actually online by
Very
yourself.
correct. Very
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
My only worry now becomes because I know, like, when it comes to copyrights, for example, copyrights for books, because nowadays, even when you walk in town, you find so many copyrighted books. In fact, I just learned that those books that are always sold on the streets they're not even like original works, copyrighted. They're just like, when it now comes to copyright, that this bodies like the MCSK, Music Society of Kenya, there's Prisk. Maybe we can
Yes.
talk about that because I'm also wondering, will I go to other countries and follow up on my book? My book is being stolen or photocopied by someone else. Who's going to check that for me? Or something I have to do by myself? I don't know.
When it comes to the registration bit, Marcia,
Yeah,
as you said, it's quite easy. You do it with the Kenya Copyright Board,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And for all creatives out there, please, because this is going to be the fattest bit of intellectual property you need.
yeah,
Kenya Copyright Board, let's call it Kekobo from now
yeah,
on because it's quite a long name.
yeah,
Kekobo offices, you can do the application online for registration, or
yeah,
you can go to their offices. They are in NHIF building in Nairobi,
yeah,
the 5th floor. Will help you out very well.
yeah,
Please go. That building is very beautiful. Naikona Park.
yeah.
Use
I've
that
actually been
opportunity.
there. Yeah,
Yes. So when it comes to the application process or how it works or the
yeah,
registration process, the first thing you have to make sure is when it comes to the application, the format of the work. So let's just take an example of your book, that book that
yeah,
we've been talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, your book has to show original authorship from you. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be clear that you're the only one who has ever written this book. You did not borrow your ideas from another book. You get it? Like,
Yeah,
there are books that are based on other books. It
yeah.
has to show original authorship.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be in a tangible format, either
Yeah.
in e-form format or electronic format or the actual hard copy format.
Yeah.
The other thing that after ensuring those two things, you're given your certification to show that Marcia Tisa has copyrighted this book. Anyone who wants to use it, anyone who wants to make it into a film, anyone who wants to whatever has to get consent from Marcia Tisa.
Masha, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And of course, it can be done virtually, it can be done online, but I would suggest that please you'd rather go and visit the offices or at least to call someone there because there's a reason you go to the doctor when you're sick and you don't self-medicate because the doctor knows that you do not know. So it's always safer not to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And when your thing is registered, now your book, it's registered, there is a particular database that is on Kekobo where you can look for all the things that have been registered through copyright in Kenya ever. There is a database. They have a database. So someone will just go onto that database and search Marcia Tisa. Maybe your book was called Blue. taking an example of your fantastic blue jacket. Let's say your book was called Blue.
Yeah.
So someone will say Blue Marcia Tisa, and it's going to come up.
Yeah.
And it is shown that it is a registered copyright work of Marcia Tisa.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. And it is quite easy.
Yeah,
If I
it's
can
quite
say the
easy.
process.
Yeah. And in fact, even like
Yeah,
even
you
when
just
you call,
need 1,000 bucks.
yeah,
Yes.
even when you call, they're very receptive because I think I've registered a couple of times. It's actually not like the hardest process. My only worry was actually, and I need to confirm this, if I register copyright in Kenya,
Yes.
does it have an implication internationally? Do I have to still register in Europe or in? Does it work? Is it an international thing? That's question number one. And yeah,
Yes.
is it international or it's just within Kenya?
From what I can say is that majority of intellectual property rights are territorial, right?
Okay.
But they're territorial. However, sometimes I see things like you see Isomia, for example, Waka Waka, the one that
Yeah.
Shakira sang for World Cup,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The song, she stole the beat. She stole the beats of the song. Acha tu niseme stole,
Yeah,
because
she
she
stole.
did
Yeah.
steal.
There's no
She
way.
stole the beat of right. She stole the beat of the song from a Cameroonian band.
Yeah.
So you see, even if maybe assuming they had registered the song, which I don't know if they did or did not,
Yeah.
there was such a big issue with it that Shakira and her recording company had to pay compensation to that band. So I would like to say that these rights are territorial, but there's just something about things like music and book that you cannot really steal, because they're going to be so popular and well known from where they are.
Yeah.
It's difficult to steal things like copyright. But I would want to say that maybe there is a way of making your application international. I'm not so sure about that. I don't want to answer that one, but I feel like what copyright would be one of the things that's difficult to steal.
Yeah, then that means if it's territorial and I know my work is international, I can just register it still here. If I wanted to go, I can go still back and register, because we are allowed. You can still register it in a different market. You're not limited to a particular. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not limited. Okay.
Yes.
So it's good to know that it's territorial, so that we know when we are going to other places. And then there's also a possibility that someone can take up something in my book. You know, like, for example, my book is called Blue, and then someone calls it Hulu. You know, it's not the same thing. Do I have rights still over? Can I sue them, or I don't know?
I feel like you would, right?
Yeah.
But then you see, looking at the book itself, the book Blue, I feel like maybe the content in the book is what is majorly protected, but also as well, because you see, your artistry is in the book, and the cover, the title, the picture, it's also still your artistry, because the chances are the picture that is on the cover page is yours. The blue, the name Blue is something that resonates with the book. So I feel like the protection would cover the entire thing. Though we on that the word blue, if you really want to protect the word and the word itself, it can also be protected through trademark.
Oh, nice. So I guess this will be a good segue now to go into trademarks and understanding what trademarks are. So what would you say a trademark is? And some examples.
A trademark is a site. Oh, for example, kidogo to just a small going back into the copyright section.
Yeah.
A fun fact, tunakumbuka hii series yenye ilikuwa imeshika kila mtu kwa shingo. Ilikuwa inaitwa Soul Family by Sauti Sol Generation.
Yeah, the Soul Family, yeah.
Yeah, they have copyrighted that.
They've copyrighted the show itself.
The show itself. Because the show was called Soul Family, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember that series?
Yeah, I remember. It's the reality TV. I think it's still, I remember. I've actually watched it. Yeah.
I think if you look, exactly. So there are so many things that have been copyrighted. So please, usisikie woga. It's less than 1,000 bob. It takes a
Yeah.
minute to do it. So
Yeah.
let's just do it. See order to pelekane in all our creativity. We just get it
Yeah.
registered.
Okay. Especially when you have given the whole soul family example. So now there's this
Yes.
copyright and now there's trademark. So would you what's the
Yes.
distinction between the two?
What trademark is, it is a sign that is capable of distinguishing goods
Yeah.
or services from one enterprise to another. You get it?
Yeah.
So if we are looking at umepeana hiyo example ya soul family,
Yeah.
why would that be copyrighted, not trademarked?
Not trademarked because it's the title. I don't know.
I understand, but then you see, if they become like such a big thing, mpaka they want to trademark it, it's
Yeah.
not impossible. But the
Yeah.
reason why they copyrighted Soul Family was because it was a work of art. It was a whole series
Okay.
that involved the lives of people, and it was their livelihoods. It was
Yeah.
a whole work of art.
Yeah.
Copyright protects art.
Okay.
Trademarks protects things, names, words, colors. So like like Safaricom,
Yeah.
you see the color green, the color white, the color red.
Yeah.
You know, like even if another company comes out and starts using those colors, you will obviously know they are not Safaricom.
Yeah.
Because certain weight that has been brought on by Safaricom using those colors over the years.
Yeah.
Mpaka now you can't associate those with any. You unaona tu color green mahali kwa duka unaona hiyo ni duka
This
ya
is
pesa. You don't
Safaricom.
even
Yeah.
know the owners. Right? So
Yeah.
that is what a trademark does. A trademark just assists someone to protect their name because there's some sort of value in that name. For example, our deceased retired president, Daniel Arap Moi,
Yeah.
trademarked the name Kabarak.
Kabarak. Okay.
Yes, so anyone else who decides to use the name Kabarak must have a license.
Oh,
Because
okay.
everything that was Kabarak was owned by the Moi family. So you see, for them, it has meaning, even if it just has meaning ya kupenda tu kusikia jina yao iko hapo. It has what is this value? Sentimental value. Even if that's just the point, they trademarked it, and now no one else can use it.
So I'm just trying to imagine, like you see, Safaricom is trademark definitely, and they have their colors. So we can come with I can come up with my company called Kangalicom, baby Kangalicom. I can still trademark that with green. I don't know, something closer, or maybe, for example, which names are close. You know, there's like maybe Jubilee. You know, there's this Jubilee Party, and then there's Jubilee Insurance. All of them, I assume they're trademarked in a way. How would you navigate that? What if the names are similar?
Yes. Let me use your example with Kangalicom.
Yeah,
you
Kangalicom.
are offering the same services that you like the same. You are offering the same services that Safaricom does.
Yes.
You call yourself Kangalicom. You have their colors.
Yeah.
You know what, Marcia? Your registration will be rejected very fast.
Oh, okay.
Because there is a certain connotation that comes with the colors, that comes with the e-com that you've stolen, and the something that you offer that makes it too similar to the thing that has been trademarked.
Oh, okay.
So utaharibu the essence of the protection.
Yeah.
Because intellectual property is meant to protect peer from an economic perspective.
Yeah.
Someone who wants to use your work or someone who wants to use something that you already have, they have to pay you. So if everyone starts Kangalicoms, they will be stealing from Safaricom.
Yeah. So to be safe, what
Because
you're saying is we have to be different. We have to be of different. If it's Kangalicom and I'm selling cars, that's okay with green.
No, I think it would actually be refused. You cannot have things that are rhyming. There are so many things to use in the English dictionary. There are so many words. There are so many numbers and so many languages. I'm sure you can find something different to do. When you're registering intellectual property in general, as I've said with copyright, always a search database. So when there's a search database, you do that search themselves to make sure you don't have your Kangalicoms and there's Safaricom.
Okay, I hear you. But now, like for example, just
Yes,
this case of an actual case, there's Jubilee Party, there's Jubilee Insurance.
yes,
All of them are Jubilees. Can Jubilee Party,
yes.
like, can they all trademark their names? Because they're doing different things altogether.
I feel like, as first of all, it's usually impossible to trademark something that is in the public forum, ama public eye.
Okay.
Jubilee, you see, Jubilee is a Kiswahili word, no? Am I
Yeah, it's
dreaming?
in English, Jubilee, Jubilee. Yeah,
Okay, double can make Kenyan mind. Everything Jubilee kwangu just means black. Sorry, Jubilee is
yeah,
English
yeah,
for jubilant. I'm a jubilating, happiness,
yeah.
joy.
Mm,
So you can't trademark a word that is in the dictionary. That is a word that people use. So it's
okay,
not even possible.
okay. I
You
hear you.
see,
Yeah,
right?
has to be something
Ni
unique,
kama
something you've come up with.
exactly.
Okay.
And it has to be, and even if it's just a number, or even if it's just a word, or it's like unaona unaona in the game of pool, there
Yeah.
is this ball, which is this, is it called an 8 ball, a 9 ball, the last ball that we should dunk.
Mm-hmm.
That number in itself is usually a very popular number when it comes to pool. So unaona, if you can't even trademark that number, because even if it's number 8 and it is
Yeah.
there in our numericals, it
Yeah.
is already associated to the game.
Oh, okay, I hear you. There's a unique aspect to it. So now this trademark question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm.
question for trademark. What's the application process for the trademark? That's one. And then how long does it take for you to apply? Because copyright is almost immediate, like within a week or even 2 days, you already have your copyright. But now what of the trademark? How long does it take? The application process?
The application process can take up to maybe 3 to 5 months, but it can take a
Oh, okay.
while.
Okay.
It can take a little while, but don't be
Okay.
discouraged. If you have something to trademark, please trademark. And also, it can be quite pricey.
Okay.
So hopefully you have the money that comes with that big registration, because it can be quite pricey. I don't want to say the amount because it is dependent on the thing you're trademarking. There are so many
Oh.
things you can trademark, and then they all
Mhm.
have different fees. So I don't want to say the amount kwa sababu hapo hata nitakuwa nikijicheza. I do not know.
Yeah.
But
Then
they're on the higher spectrum, like higher than copyright, basically.
okay.
So
How?
the registration process, as you said,
Yeah. It's
the
okay.
registration process,
Mm-hmm.
ni sawa. The registration process involves you going to a body known as the Kenya Industrial Property Institute, KIPI.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it KIPI from now on.
Yeah.
KIPI. So KIPI, you can go on their website, and they have all sorts of intellectual property information on their website, quite
Yeah.
knowledgeable and educational. And similarly, peleka tu miguu hapo.
Yeah.
Ujo kwa unyo, uende KIPI Center, the offices are in Lavington.
Yeah.
I'ma call them.
Yeah.
Right? And they will take you through the entire process. There usually
Yeah.
are quite a number of steps. It's not as easy as copyright, and that's why you require to be assisted. So when it comes to the registration of things like, you know what, first when you're registering anything, always just have a lawyer, please, because we learn these things in school. So apart from having the lawyers, you're registering your copyright, apart from having the lawyers at Kekobo helping you, also have your own lawyer to look at the documentation. Apart from having the lawyers at KIPI assisting you, also have your own lawyer look at the documentation. So that is one way. You can register through the Kenya Industrial Property Organization, KIPI. There's also another way where you're making your trademark more international. As I've said, intellectual property rights are territorial. So this is more of like an international application where you apply in one single application and your trademark is protected in 128 different countries in the world.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And now that one is a kupatia bay, like a minimum.
Yeah.
Normally for countries that are like developed countries, the ones that are doing well off to say economically, GDP, wanalipanga maybe around 83,000 per application.
Okay. Oh.
right? But for countries that are the LDCs, third world countries, kama Kenya, to by 90%. So the 83 becomes something around 8,300 bob.
Not bad.
Exactly. So I've never registered a trademark before as in myself, kama mimi. But I think this international one is a good one because it will also offer you protection in Kenya as well. So it's just fantastic.
So if I register in Kenya, just with the 8,000, it just protects me mostly in Kenya, but that international one will protect me in so many countries, which is a good way to look at it. Okay.
Exactly.
So I'm actually so grateful because I feel like I'm learning a lot, especially on the trademark bit. Now, like, how do you stop someone from, like, like the example of Barack? Maybe like, the same way Safaricom and maybe Kangalicom, maybe Kabarak, and then I call it Kabara or something. Is there a way you can protect yourself against that? Because I know trademarking is probably the name and everything associated with it. So does that still apply? How do I protect making sure someone doesn't make a small change to the logo and now they present it for trademarking? How do you protect yourself from that?
There has to be some level of originality.
Yeah.
Right? You just can't take someone's already registered trademark and tweak it a bit. They will pick that up and will very, very fast reject your application.
Yeah.
You see, because you see what trademark does, assuming I was a thief of intellectual property, what trademark does is it protects the name, the mark, the colors, whatever, for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? After 10 years, it goes into the public domain and therefore cannot be trademarked anymore. So if I wanted to use Safaricom, I just have to wait for 10 years. And then after 10 years, I can Kangalicom. But that is only if I don't renew it. You see how Safaricom keeps on renewing their 10-year license, 10-year license, 10-year license, 10-year license. You will never have an opportunity to touch Safaricom with Kangalicom. You get it?
Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't renew your 10 years, you renew your license, then that would mean that your protection stops. So I, being the intellectual property thief, will come and make Kangalicom, assuming Safaricom would be able to do that, right?
Yeah. We can now go to the other form of intellectual property that you talked about, patents. What are patents and what are some of the examples? You can give even local examples, of what can we patent.
On that note, let me also give a local example, apart from the Kabarak example of trademark.
Yeah.
Another local example of something that has been trademarked is the Made in Kenya logo. There are very many designers who have that logo, right?
Yeah.
Made in Kenya. I'm sure if you look for the logo, it's there.
Yeah.
So it's stamped on anything that is made in Kenya and meets the requirement of having that certification mark.
Yeah.
So that it can be seen it comes from Kenya. So that in itself is a trademark. The way it looks, it has the colors of the Kenyan flag, right?
Yeah.
So that in itself is trademarked. The colors and the words. And I think it actually has really unique shapes on it. Everything has been trademarked.
What of like our Kenyan, maybe our Kenyan flag, our Kenyan national anthem? So the anthem is copyrighted, and then the flag is what? The flag is trademarked. Am I reasoning? Is that how it's done?
Yes. If you think of it like that, I guess it's sour. But then there's also it makes perfect sense as you're saying it, Marcia. However, because of the things like peace and unity and cooperation of different countries, we try not to steal things that are a symbol of state independence and statehood. So things like people's anthems, we stay away from them. Things like people's flags, we stay away from them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether it's registered or not, but you are going to be try waving a Tanzanian flag in Tanzania, and then people are going to wonder if you're an official or if you're the president. If not, you're going to be told to take it down. People in every other country. So it's just like it's like respect.
Yeah.
So people don't use it. Don't use such things. Yeah, people don't use such things.
Yeah, I hear you. Now we can talk. So now we can go still now to patents. What are patents and what qualifies?
A patent. So what a patent is basically gives one the rights to an invention. And what is an invention? An invention is something that is new. Now, these are also the characteristics of something that can be patented, something that is patentable. One, it has to be new. Two, it has to include an inventive step. And the third thing, it has to be industrially applicable according to its nature. So, giving examples of things in Kenya that have been patented. There is a certain lady called Wanja Hannah. And she has patented a topical composition for treatment for hair loss. So I think for the application to pass, it had to be shown that what she was inventing, which was the topical composition, is new. Topical meaning unajipaka, right? It had to be new. It had to be an inventive step in the industry that has not been done before. And it has to be industrially applicable according to its nature. So you see, Madam Wanja's application obviously passed right through, right? Exactly. So that is what a patent is. Have you gotten it mpaka hapo? You understand?
Gotten it. I feel like it has to be very original. So let's just say, for example, like the example you've given for a Kenyan who has gotten a patent, she's giving a process. So what is being patented is the process itself. You understand? So, for example, like, there's this term that there's nothing new under the sun. So if there's nothing new under the sun, maybe so what you're patenting is the process of how to make something. But like maybe the product can be more or less the same. I don't know. Is that what you're saying? It's not. Do you like innovations? For example, if you innovate, probably a can or not really, maybe something original, probably a cure for something. Those are things that qualify for patents. Is that how it's done?
No, there are things you can't patent. You can't patent things like mathematical formulas, cures to very big diseases that are seen as dangerous things in the world. Yeah, there are things you can't patent. Otherwise, if someone patented something for cancer, can you imagine how bad that would be?
So patents is like, okay, so you're saying things that can be maybe like the making of, how to make something. Okay, I didn't know cures can be, okay. Original works of album, so-and-so discovered.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, kidogo.
Yeah.
I think things with regards to medicine and treatment can be done if they can be patented. If it involves a new step, a new thing, an inventive step, and it can be used in the market. However, because of the basis of morality, you cannot patent something that is very significant to the public health system. Can you imagine if someone patented ARVs? How much would they be?
What?
The way they free.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but there are things that even our law says you can't do it. Like scientific theories, mathematical formulas, things with regards to public health, what else? Things with regards to something about an agricultural process because of the kind of work we do as a country. So things like that can't be patented.
Oh, okay, I hear you. So this is a really good conversation because now we are learning. And we've really learned about so many things, patents. But I know, like, even if you look at it in the creative industry, most of us will really mostly fall under industrial designs or copyrights, and then not even patents as well. And then also there's this other that we've talked about, trademarks as well. So I have this other question now. You know the statement that like there's nothing new under the sun. Now, because there's a way you can protect your ideas, there's a way you can protect yourself, making sure you're not exploited. So does that mean we shouldn't be sharing our ideas? Remember those people who like sharing ideas. So like what's safe? You know what's safe? Because most of the times you find, like, especially in creatives, you'd find some NGO or something is looking for people who maybe to do animations. They tell you, write a 10-minute synopsis of what your idea is, what, bring your characters. Is that safe?
No, because they would be stealing something that you should have. Unajua, one thing we usually say in law, Marcia, is that law helps the vigilant. If you are not vigilant, your ideas will been stolen.
Yeah.
So please shut up with your new idea. Shut up, register it, and then now talk about it.
Shut up, register,
that
then
is
talk
always
about
the
it.
best way to go.
Shut up,
Then
register, talk about it.
it.
Okay. Well, okay.
Exactly.
I hear you.
Exactly. There are things that are known by people, so registering it can take a while. You get
Yeah.
it, come up.
Yeah.
If the way we know, as I've used the example of like Louboutin shoes, where
Yeah.
they have a red sole, everyone always like knows and correlates the brand with the color red.
Yeah.
Therefore, even if they hadn't trademarked it or registered it as an intellectual property,
Yeah.
you can see that it's a color that is known to be linked to a certain brand.
Yeah.
However, when you are a startup, you do not have the luxury of Louboutin resources,
Yeah.
the company resources.
Mm.
You see, so if you have a really good idea, if it's an invention, if it's a certain logo, if it's
Yeah.
a certain name you want, if it's a certain number, if it's your art, your book, your film, your movie, your
Yeah.
short film, if watu films to dakika tano, register it, please. No, usiambie watu. Don't start going into business before you register it, because
Yeah.
utanyonywa pesa hata utashtuka.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's actually a mistake most people make, because I've seen a lot of creatives, even as myself sometimes I've seen like we sort of undervalue the kind of work we do. And I like the part where you're saying register. So it actually just means we all need lawyers. Like we all need lawyers. Just everyone. Lawyers are like oxygen.
Okay, well, let's not say oxygen. No,
Okay,
oxygen
you
is
need
oxygen. Because oxygen is the most important of the list. But
you need
it's like go throughout your life without a doctor.
Yeah.
You see, it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible because
Yeah.
being aware and things like being a doctor,
Yeah.
they come from those careers are built on the backs of trying to avoid things from happening. They're
Yeah.
like preventative careers. You're trying to prevent yourself from getting obesity. You're trying to prevent lung cancer. You're trying to prevent yourself from getting food by KRA. You see? So you do need a lawyer. Not like oxygen, but everyone needs a lawyer, please. Everyone needs a lawyer.
But it's true. I agree. Everyone really needs a lawyer. And the whole point of get this idea, put it all together and copyright. So maybe just one more question before we just quickly finish up on contract. Now, for example, I have this idea of a film. I've copyrighted it. Is there an opportunity for me to like make changes to it? Like maybe if I make changes, can I still update that with the same registration, or I have to apply for another one?
Oh yeah, you can choose to amend whatever you have already registered, but you can also choose to register it again as a new copyright.
Okay.
Because you see, maybe the rhythm and the tone can be quite special to you.
Yeah.
So they might be different, but you still want the protection for both of them.
Yeah.
So I would suggest you register them separately.
Okay.
Maybe you don't want the one that was there before.
Okay.
You see, but then you see now the problem is it's your mind, baby. Just because wewe unaona ni kama labda umekosa hadi, it doesn't mean someone else won't. There's someone who's going to come and ask you, I want to use that song, the song, the book that you made first, the movie that you made, the first version of that one, I want to use it. Let's make a contract around it. And then you haven't registered. Now, Tebusi, see.
Yeah, see our lives. Oh my goodness, I really love that.
Exactly.
So now we can now talk about contracts, because now contracts are always a big issue when it comes to especially freelancers and signing contracts. People thinking I'm the one who created all this, and then the person is exploiting all your rights, because a lot of the times you are the one who's contracted to do something. Probably you're on a part-time basis, and now like there's always this push-up of, am I a co-creator? What rights do I have? Should I share this work as mine? Like, or the person who's employing, like if I work for a certain company, what rights do I have as a person who's, probably it's my brainchild, I'm the one who came up with that good idea, but it's the company that, I don't know. How do we go around contracts? Are we co-creators really? Or we're just employed? We do the work, think, and then leave.
This is where it would come in extremely handy if you had an intellectual property lawyer read through your employment contracts and freelance contracts.
Yeah.
Because they will be able to see the nitty-gritties. Unajua, one word can change an entire phrase in a contract clause. So
Yeah.
where you this one is protecting me, and then kumbe there's one where duko katikati like a bat or a maybe or a cat,
Yeah.
and then it just changes the whole. You can't know that.
Yeah.
Take it to your lawyer, preferably an intellectual property lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
to read through the contract, to help you there as you negotiate through the contract and the clauses within the contract.
Yeah.
Because you see now what happens, it's like you see come out photography, for example.
Yeah.
Photography can easily be copyrighted, right? Because it is a work of art. However, the issue with it is if you do not understand your rights as the creator,
Yeah.
you will not be able to protect them, because maybe it's not about photographing the particular tree, or maybe photographing the person.
Yeah.
It's about the use of that particular picture everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why a difference between a photographer coming to you, Marcia, and saying, I want to take a photo of you, but those will be mine.
Yeah.
Those photos will be mine. So there's a difference between that, and then there's a difference between something like the photographer coming to you, but you're paying them full price for the photos. You see, then those become yours.
Yeah.
But picture when you open our laptops, when we buy new laptops, there's always these kawaii that say they are for nature. There's one for just like architectural shapes. Where do you think those ones came from?
Yeah.
You see, someone took a picture, it's being rotated by HP and Microsoft, whatever the company is using. So you see, there has to be some certain protection.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a certain deal that they got into that enabled the photographer to be paid, as well as Microsoft to be paid as well.
Yeah.
So I think the way ulikuwa unasema that there's nothing new in this world, that is an absolute lie. Because if there's anything that keeps the world moving, it is the creative economy. People who can think new. It's like in the job market. Someone who is a very attractive candidate in the job market is someone who is able to give a unique solution to a problem of the organization. So please tell me what someone would be meaning when they're telling you there's nothing new under the sun. Those are just jealous. Tell them it is their jealousy and shocking them for them to say something like
that. We are constantly. Yeah, I hear you.
Exactly. So it's upon the. Do you see it when you register when you don't register them, you can't do anything. If you don't register your industrial design, your patents, your trademarks, your copyright, nothing can be done. Now you're complaining. Now you complain what? You see?
Yeah.
Because you can go and sue and tell a lawyer to file papers for you in court, and then you go to court. But then you see chances of you losing are very high, and going to court in itself is money. So basically, utakuwa umepoteza. So it is always the prerogative of the creative to protect their work. Yeah. Because if you're waiting for someone else to do that for you, I assure you all they will do is steal from you. Because your creativity is something that can be mined by the second. Because it's something you have that someone else does not have and want.
Yeah.
When you're negotiating such contracts, as I've said, one, always have a lawyer present, preferably an intellectual property lawyer who will understand the nitty-gritties of intellectual property technical words, for example, like what does royalties mean? What does, things like that. Also, have a representative or have a consultation with a protective body. Kenya, not of course Kenya, but like generally the entire world is very keen on protecting intellectual property rights because that's how the world is moving. Every new innovation, every new thing is usually someone's mind. Yeah. So there are organizations in Kenya, kama zenye umesema, the CAMP and the PRISC and those ones. Find one, call on the KIPI, the World Intellectual Property Organization, Kikobo. Call them and ask for consultation with one of their lawyers. Yeah. Because that's what they are good at. And see what kind of information they will give you that you did not have. Yeah. You see, because there are those creatives who always have a team of lawyers with them. When you are corner resources. Well, kama Matia, ukiwa na such a brilliant idea, you have to go mining the information from where you feel like you can get it. One, intellectual property lawyer. Two, the bodies that protect IP in Kenya. right? So if you're going to Kipi, you go to Kipi. If it's Kekobo, you go. You see?
Yeah.
If it's maybe the World Intellectual Property Organization for an international application, you can call them up or email them and they're going to respond. So it's about you being vigilant, right? Because you see at the beauty of registering your intellectual property is that licensing, after you've registered it, a license agreement is registered against your original registration. So they know that your thing imeombwa for a short while. Let's say your artistry, your book, your film, your kalogo, whatever it is you registered, it has been licensed off for a bit. You have consented to it, you have authorized it, and this is the payment you will receive every time they use it. Now that is registered. So, for example, you register copyright with Kekobo. So if someone comes with an agreement to you and tells you they want to use your book for such and such and such, they will require consent from you. But the consent from you will come from your mouth, Marcia. It will come from Kekobo, knowing that Marcia has allowed agreement to be registered against her copyright. Therefore, they will pay Marcia X amount. And because Marcia agrees to this contract, Kekobo also agrees to this contract. So we can move ahead.
So they get a license, and then what they pay me is what is called royalties. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Exactly. But royalties there for things like music. I mean, royalties in a music, but
the music.
Books as well.
Even
music, right? Okay. I'm not so sure about like what nimesikia royalties when it comes to music most of the time.
But they still pay like probably they're using maybe I've come up with a curriculum and they can license, you know, like maybe they use it for a while, and then what they pay me like royalties. Maybe they're using it continuously. Probably it's my curriculum, it's my invention, it's my activities. I don't know. Yeah. That's okay. That's really nice. Yeah.
So, but the thing, for example, is that there are these things called collective management organizations, CMOs.
CMOs,
right? Zinakwanga under Kekobo so that they can maybe cater to each form of artist, I guess. So there is one for music producers, there is one for musicians in general, there is one for performers, like people who do films, ama to a theater, and under that, now how you're going to get paid. You get it. So Kekobo is just the umbrella, and then those ones are just like the branches. Right, depending on where you fall in the because when it comes to the music of the business of copyright, music takes a big chunk because music is a lot of copyright protection in the world. Many people like copywriting their music, musical stuff. So a lot of CMOs are music related, but that doesn't mean you can't get assistance. What is at the end of the day, when you say you want someone to use your thing that you have registered, you will have to register that agreement alongside your already registered intellectual property, whatever it may be, patent, whatever, so that every time it's used, you're paid. You get it, right?
Yeah.
The organization you register this can also acknowledge that Marcia has been paid because the money has come in because of this agreement. So it is all about your vigilance. Creator. If you're vigilant, fine. If not, sasa si imepotelea hapo, your creativity has gone, imeoga na maji.
But that shall not be our story. I'm really happy that now we are learning about protecting and valuing ourselves enough to protect our intellectual property and just knowing our rights, and also the fact that we have people who can who can now monitor and make sure you get the money. They can collect money on your behalf, which is really nice. So I'm looking at it now in this way. So for example, now you as Christine, so we'd want definitely, now we've said all of us need lawyers, which is very, very true. So there's an intellectual property lawyer. So is this a service you'd want to offer to people, and how can people get you?
As I mentioned earlier, I am a legal manager, right? And as I said, business, my area of specialization is one that entails ensuring the success and sustenance of businesses.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think it's something that I touch on, but from a theoretical perspective.
Yeah.
I think that if someone a creative who wants to protect their intellectual property rights would require more detail than I offer. Mimi, yangu inakwanga more of like access to business in general, which IP entails, but I feel like there are other people out there who do this kabisa, like specific job, and they're going to be much better at it. So I think I would like to refer you guys to one, right?
Okay.
Her name is Liz Lenjo. You can find her on Instagram. And she is she's my senior because she's also an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So anyone above you, so she's my senior, very talented, very hardworking, and then she's very experienced in the area of property. She's an IP lawyer, an entertainment lawyer, media lawyer, fashion lawyer. So you see, this is what she does. So you can look for her on Instagram, Liz Lenjo, and she has a law firm. Her business is called My IP Studio. My IP is in capital, so it looks like me.
Okay.
So if you have any questions with regards to your creative babies, anything you want to do, just book a consultation with her. Just go on Instagram or look up her name on Google, and you can go to her LinkedIn, and then you can connect with her from. But I feel like, of course, ningeji, what is it called? Ningeji sema.
No, but it's okay. Like that's a good reference, Liz Lenjo. So I guess you can go look at her, and then she can give detail. But I'm really happy about the different kinds of advice you've given. You've given us a good understanding of different things like patents, trade secrets, just that little information. You can always go look around. And know there's the internet nowadays. You can always go read more about certain things. And now, since you've said your specialty is you are more specialized in the growth and sustenance of businesses, we are people in the creative economy, but we are businesses as well. Just now, this is now as your parting shot, as you can give advice now from your standpoint as a legal advisor. What can you say about probably our businesses? Maybe something to look out for, just any pieces of advice from a business angle.
Let me say, number one, right, as a parting shot. Number one, since your mind and your creativity then becomes your business, then you should always make sure that before you start any business, whatever, even if it's not a creative one, hata kama ni ya kuuza padlocks, kama ya kufanya kazi ya hardware, always consult a lawyer. Consult a lawyer, because there are issues around starting up a business and sustaining a business. Things like how you get the monies to start. Things like tax liabilities that can bankrupt you. And since you're looking into the sustenance of your business and the services the goods that you offer, you will always need a lawyer. You have the idea, go to a lawyer first. Not for anything. I can even say that when you don't feel like going to the toilet, at this point, just consult a lawyer before you do.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I hear you.
Right? Number two would be the fact that, Marcia as well, I'm also a certified mediator. What this means is that I am, apart from all the things that I have studied, I have also studied the art that is doing out of court settlements. I don't do court disputes, right? So I would also suggest, in any given time as a business, as a creative, never step foot in the courtroom, ever step foot. Usiwahi suiwa, never be sued, and never sue mpaka you take someone to court. This is how you should approach it as a business. You are in dispute with a client, you're in dispute with one of your employees, take it to mediation. Talk it out, because you see the problem with court disputes, they are expensive. As a business, do you want to waste your money on someone who will not pay you back?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So do you ever step foot in a courtroom? Ever.
Out of court settlements. I'll take you to court. Take you to court.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm also a mediator, so I can help you guys out on that.
Okay.
And I think the last thing I can say as a business and trying to safeguard the opportunities you have around you is always unajua kuna hii kitu watu wanasemanga the people who like using shortcuts to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, shortcuts kill business.
Okay.
Shortcuts
They take you there faster.
Exactly. So when it comes to doing things right, when it comes to having the proper documentation, when it comes to waiting for certificates, when it comes to waiting for licenses before you start, when it comes to paying California fees, do everything as it is supposed to be done. Because what we are looking for, as you said, Marcia, is to make sure that your business continues. Even when you die, your business continues. How do you, like, for example, that was since nimeongea kuhusu the aspect of death. Another reason why you need a lawyer. There are very many ways you can register your business. It can be a company, it can be a business, it can be a trust. You want to keep something for your kids when you die. You will see, you won't know any of that until you talk to a lawyer, right? That is why you talk to us. Talk to one of us, please.
We will. We must.
Yeah, please. And I think with those three, I think those are the parting shots. Right? Always have a lawyer. And lawyers can be affordable. Don't think that those ones you see on billboards are the only lawyers that are
lawyers, just are they affordable? Is that true?
Lawyers in general?
Yeah.
Marcia, lawyers are available. For example, here at my office, our services for consultation are 1,000. There are doctors who have more consultation than that.
Yeah.
They're affordable.
It's affordable.
You just have to trust someone. Exactly. You just have to trust someone who's going to do the work for you. They are quite affordable. So, but yeah, as I was saying, these are to always have a lawyer, an affordable lawyer, because we need it to be consistent. Number 2, not put in a courtroom. And number 3, not use shortcuts.
Shortcuts will keep you. That's a good thing. So thank you so much, Christine, for sharing your knowledge and your many insights. Since I know you're just the first player I'm calling. So I'm just coming to the realization that I really, really need a lawyer in my life. There's certain things, there are a lot of things we don't know. Sometimes you think by Googling, some things you can't really say, who needs a lawyer when I can Google? But there are things you don't know, you don't know. So those things you don't know that you don't know are the things that are going to eat you up. So it's always good to have someone who's specialized to help you see those things that you don't know, that can actually eat you up later. So is there a website? How can people get to use their email address for someone who's listening and would want to contact you?
I think the easiest way would be to tell you guys to connect with me on LinkedIn. All the work that I've done, all the things I have done, if you want to see what I've done, so you can see if you want to use my services. You need a perfect, nice CV. And it also has my email. It also has a website. And you can see I also write articles on how to sustain your business and law firms in particular. So they are also linked there on my LinkedIn. So you can always type in Christine Wothaya. No one has a name like me. It is quite so that mine is going to be the only one you find. So it won't be hard. Exactly. Trademarked by my ethnicity. Yes. So Christine Wothaya on LinkedIn. Feel free to inbox me. Feel free to connect with me, and you can ask me any question. There is also an email address that is there that everything is available on my LinkedIn. Christine Wothaya.
Thank you so much for that. I know many people are really going to contact you, and anybody. I think just in general, we all need lawyers because you don't know what you don't
definitely. Know. I am open and willing and free for anyone who requires assistance.